Yield forecasting is crucial for the soft fruit industry. If the farmers can't communicate with the commercial team and the marketers what is coming on any given day, then there's no confidence in the supply chain and they're not getting the best price for their fruit when it hits the supermarket. We've all been into a supermarket and one week it's $7 a punnet, the next day it's $2 a punnet. But guess what? When it's $2 a punnet, the farmer's not making any money. So it's important that we get this right. Yeah, so one of the major challenges is that they just can't collect enough data to give really a good representation of what's happening in the field. And every different person that's out there looking at a plant and maybe counting what's on that plant will have a different interpretation of, is that a green fruit or is that a slightly pink fruit, and at what phenological stage. You know, and as humans, we'll get tired at the end of the day and hungry at lunchtime, and that all affects the counts. When we look at the scale of the data as well, you know, human counter can count maybe 8 blueberry bushes a day. We can count 22,000. So the financial effect on farmers for getting the forecast wrong is massive. If you under or over forecast, you get financial penalties. If you under forecast in some parts of the world, you have to buy fruit off the market. If you over forecast and you're providing too much fruit, instead of getting $15 a kg, you might get $3 a kg, you know, really hitting your bottom line there. So our AI takes the individual videos and looks at every berry that we see in that and looks at it many times and assigns it a phenological stage. But that's only the first bit of AI that we use. We then use AI to extrapolate the data out for our sample to represent the whole block. That is the area of interest, and then we use AI on top of that to bring in all these other data sets around forecasting, like your weather and your ripening curves, to then pop out with what you're going to pick on any given day. We do a couple of different things in our AI. We do object detection. We do tracking of those objects through the frames as well. We look at quality and defects and like skin marks and mold and things like that. We have an app so the AI can run locally in the field, but we also have our server environment where we can produce massive amounts of data. We have about 3 petabytes of data saved in our servers, which we can mine for future problems in the berry industry. And at the core of what we do, we are an AI company. We're just very knowledgeable farmers that have come together and brought our skills together in AI and farming to make Bitwise Agronomy. So what farmers can expect back from us in our reports and insights is very detailed information on yield forecasting. So we will give a yield forecast on a pick day, or, you know, if we collect data today, being Friday, this is week 0, so for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on after the video collection date. And they'll receive that back in an easy to interpret way, so they can just take that information and put it into their commercial system to inform their marketers of what's available to sell. So when customers use Bitwise for forecasting, we see a significant increase in accuracy in their weekly forecasts and forecast to pick date. And that can be up to 4 to 6 weeks in the future. Normally on a weekly basis, what we forecast is within 10% of what is actually picked. And when we look at a whole season, it's normally within 2 or 3%. For forecasting and how we forecast, we don't just use historical data. We look at the ripening curves of the fruit itself. So we track, let's say, a strawberry from a flower all the way through to a pickable fruit and look at how long that takes in each stage. We don't do that against calendar days. We do it against growing degree days, so how many sort of heat units that the plant can grow within each day. That gives us a really accurate way to model out the sort of plant behaviour. So a ripening curve is basically how the fruit ripen from a flower to a pickable fruit and how long that takes and the cycle that that fruit takes at a given point in time. They're important because we use these to understand the plants and to work out how quickly fruit will be ready to pick. In the past, we've had one set ripening curve per variety, but in reality, this changes on a weekly or flush basis. So it's important that we stay agile with updating our ripening curves. What we do differently is we track those ripening curves through the season, and we have multiple ripening curves per variety, per location. What we've found at Bitwise is that, there's a different ripening curve if you've got a different irrigation technique or a different fertilizer that you're using or a different plastic in your tunnel. Even though it's the same variety, you'll have different ripening curves. So it's that sort of granularity and that knowledge of like hundreds of different ripening curves that are really important to be applied to forecasting. Our forecasting tools give flexibility depending on the type of crop that you're growing. In blueberries at the start of the season, you may have a variety that you may only pick every 8 to 10 days. So in that case, we would give you the tools to forecast by pick date. When we get into other crops like your rubus and your strawberries, where you may be picking every day or every second day, it's more important to forecast by calendar week. We give you the options to pick how you want to forecast that suits your business needs and your variety of fruit. So the impact of using Bitwise for our farmers is that they get a really highly accurate and consistently accurate forecast. This gives their marketers and their commercial team and the supply chain confidence in the information that's being supplied so they can get the best price, making sure they don't leave any money on the table and maximising the economic return for their crop. The type of AI that we use, vision-based AI, really fills a gap with the needs for the farmers. They don't have enough eyes to be looking at the crop all the time and in every area. If you've got 3,000 hectares of blueberry, you can't be looking at that all the time. So you're missing information that has critical importance to what you're farming, and AI can fill that gap. Where it's useful for our customers to have a longer term forecast, which may be 6 weeks for strawberries or raspberries and maybe 12 weeks for blueberries, is so you can see that increase in the peak of the fruit and see it taper off. So that way you can give that to the marketers so they can start planning further in advance. Before Bitwise Agronomy, our customers were manually counting plants to get a yield prediction. In a strawberry farm, they might count 10 plants a day when there's 10,000 plants per hectare. So that sample size is just not big enough to give an accurate representation of how much fruit and what stage it's at to forecast from. Humans are not very good at counting over 100. If you ask 10 different people to count 10 different plants with 100 berries on it, you will get 10 different answers. So what we do is we bring a consistently accurate count. That may be a count of different phenological stages, a count of the number of berries, and a count of defects. Success for me is when our customers really integrate the use of our forecast into their standard operating process. We normally go on this journey when they're doing a trial. They like to compare our forecast to their forecast and see the sort of error percentage or accuracy of that. And then once they have confidence that we're way better than the sort of manual human way of forecasting, we go to the next stage, which is really the successful stage where we're reducing the amount of work that their agronomists have to do. They're just taking our forecast and putting it into their systems, and away they go. So the Greenview Go app is an application that you use in the field for information about a point in time of your crop. There's 4 main reasons why we would use the app. The first is the point and shoot feature, which just allows you to run the AI in real time on one photo in the field, giving a breakdown of the fruit on your plant. The second feature is to do ground truthing. You can use this to automate manual counts in the field, but we also use that to validate the visibility factors in the forecasting tool. The next feature is to track a flower through to a pickable fruit on a daily basis with our close-up AI feature. This helps you with your looking at ripening curves of your plant. The last feature is when you want to look at the quality and the sizing of the fruit. We do this in strawberries and the size in blueberries. If you're doing a pick in the field, you can roll a punnet of fruit out onto a tray or in the pack house. Take a photo of that fruit and we will come back with a size profile, and if you're using strawberries, the quality of that fruit as well, looking for a number of defects. In Greenview Go, we have our quality modules. This is for strawberries. You can take a photo in the field while you're picking into punnets or in a pack shed. You roll that punnet out on what we call a checkerboard and take a photo. The quality algorithms will then go through and look for defects within the strawberries. So skin marks, mold, open wounds, just to name a few. We can then relate these back to a quality spreadsheet that have different weightings for severity and different types of defects. That can then feed directly into your quality systems to give a really consistent view of the quality. So climate change is having a massive impact on the soft fruit industry. As I talk to our customers around the world, we're constantly hearing about weather events that are out of the norm. So, we've had snow in Florida, we've had a cold snap in Huelva in Spain, we've had storms up in Scotland and Ireland, we had storms at the start of the season in Tasmania causing massive infrastructure damage. So these are all things that affect farming. It brings a massive cost to farming, whether it's replacing the infrastructure or the plants not delivering because they're too cold or they're too hot and there's lots of disease. And this really threatens our food security and the price of berries at the supermarket. So as an industry and also as a human population, we really need to learn how to farm in this new world with climate change so we can keep feeding the world. So if farmers are hesitant to drop AI, this is quite understandable. We're risk adverse as farmers. I am too as a farmer, but we need to change to keep up with the cost of labour and the cost of production. And if we don't change how we're forecasting, and if we don't change our practices so we're leaving fruit that we're not getting revenue for, then we're never going to survive. So it's really a game of survival and maximising the economic return of the crop. And you have to use AI and smarter farming practices to do that. Greenview allows farmers to get highly accurate forecasts, giving confidence to the whole supply chain. This allows farmers to get the most economic impact for their crop, which means farmers make more money. It's as simple as that.